Cardinals baseball. And it's spring training 2019. This afternoon, the Cardinals on the road. 15 ballpark at the Palm Beaches. It's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Washington Nationals. And welcome to Cardinals baseball. That's Brad Thompson. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Should be a good one here today as Miles Michaelis has a final tune-up. But before we get to that, the big news at Roger Dean Stadium. The official extension for Paul Goldschmidt. 5 more years. You include the year that was left on the contract at the trade. And it's 6 more years of Paul Goldschmidt wearing that Cardinal uniform.
Well, we were talking about it yesterday, but we have the news now that it is real. And look, it's an exciting day. It's an exciting day for Paul Goldschmidt, for his family, and for Cardinal Nation. You're going to get a chance to have one of the best players in the game here for 5 more years after this one. I'd say it's a pretty good day.
Yeah, Goldschmidt is in the lineup today very quickly. Miles Michaelis, what do you expect this afternoon?
Well, just expect him. It's all about just getting the work in here. He's getting ready for opening day. You're going to see him get the pitch count up there a little bit and keep doing Miles Michaelis things, pounding the strike zone with all of his pitches.
After today, the next time we see Miles Michaelis will be Thursday at Miller Park. We're set to go. It's the Washington Nationals, the St. Louis Cardinals, and baseball is coming up. Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By the 2019 Kia Sorento, the perfect getaway vehicle. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. And by Steak and Shake. Come into Steak and Shake and get 4 meals with 4 items for $4. 4, 4, 4. Get more for 4. Only at Steak and Shake. An absolutely gorgeous day for baseball, the Cardinals and the Nationals. 15 ballpark of the Palm Beaches in West Palm Beach, Florida. Brad Thompson, Dan McLaughlin, and there is Paul Goldschmidt. The Cardinals announcing today they have signed the 6-time National League All-Star to a 5-year contract extension. About 2 hours ago in Jupiter, Florida, at the Cardinals spring training complex, Goldschmidt met with the media.
Teams, organizations, cities kind of have a reputation, you know, coming from the outside, and you only go in there for a few days, but everything I heard about St. Louis and the organization, you know, has been more than great, whether it's from past players that have been here, coaches, current players, now getting to meet all these guys. So, I mean, definitely felt confident in that, and everything's been true, and probably more than true, the way the organization is run. I mean, going into St. Louis a couple times in the offseason, I mean, I knew I'd like it. There's not really anything to dislike, and I'm glad the feeling was mutual, because I mean, it's just exciting to be part of this tradition, and hopefully we'll do some great things here.
He is 31. He's been an all-star in each of the last 6 seasons. 4-time Silver Slugger and a 3-time Gold Glover. He is in the lineup today. Robinson, Fowler, Goldschmidt, O'Neill, Wieters, the former National, Munoz, Edman, Schrock, and Miles Michaelis. The lineup today, Brad Thompson, for the Cardinals against Steven Strasburg.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is nice to have that Goldschmidt deal done with and here for the foreseeable future. And it's going to be a nice challenge for everybody. 2 games left here in spring training before the team heads to Memphis. Steven Strasburg, one of the best in the game, on the bump today. Should be a nice challenge, especially for a lot of these younger guys.
So exciting day for the St. Louis Cardinals. Paul Goldschmidt in the fold for 6 more seasons for St. Louis. And the first pitch to Drew Robinson is taken for a ball, and we are underway. C.B. Buckner calling the balls and strikes. And there's a drive into deep right field. Stevenson back off his glove. Robinson, he can run on his way to second base, and he'll trot into third. Drew Robinson got off to a great start down here in spring training. So in the middle, and here in the final week, making this push to make the club, and he is swinging the bat well.
That is a great start right there. Ends up just catching this this offering down, drops the head on it. The wind blowing hard in. If in fact that wind wasn't blowing, that's probably a home run. But he utilizes that speed, gets something going early on. This Cardinals offense the last couple of games, Dan, this is what we've been waiting to see all spring. And I know it's been lean times, putting up a lot of runs the last 2 days. Hopefully it's a trend that continues.
Here's Dexter Fowler. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Fowler with a pair of home runs the other day. Average now up to 227 this spring. He's driven in 4. Third baseman Rendon well off the line and in. And a check swing. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cardinals are hopeful at some point this weekend that Matt Carpenter will take some swings. Has not played for the better part of the week. And Robinson, who's standing at third, has made this push to make the club on the bench.
Yeah, he's shown his versatility. They put him all over the infield. He plays all the positions well. Can play the outfield. I mean, he does a little bit of everything. Swinging it left-handed is a big advantage for him. As you see Strasburg go back door right there on Dexter Fowler. Tough pitch. Dexter didn't seem happy about it, but very nice pitch there by Steven Strasburg.
A couple of pitches in that at bat that Dexter didn't like on the outside corner.
Yeah. No doubt, and that's kind of part of the season too, part of spring. Sometimes that zone is going to be a little bit bigger than you'd like it to be.
Nice round of applause from the Cardinal faithful here in Palm Beach for Paul Goldschmidt. Now officially signed. And a curveball. Nasty drops in there for strike 1.
Pretty nice day for Paul Goldschmidt yesterday. We spent the time talking about the reported deal, now confirmed and done. But all he did yesterday was hit a homer, double, triple, and have a nice day in St. Lucie.
0-1 pitch to Goldschmidt. By the way, that ball that was hit by Robinson ruled an error on Andrew Stevenson. And as Brad mentioned, the wind is swirling here at this ballpark, which many times it'll do in February and March down here in Florida. The 1-1 inside. Paul Goldschmidt seems to be locked in after watching his at-bats yesterday. The ball gets deep, tremendous power to right center. Port St. Lucie, and that drive into right center. And Goldschmidt this spring with a pair of home runs, a .283 average, and he's driven in 5. Infield now brought in.
Saw the home run that way, saw the triple that way also, but then yanked a double down the left field line.
Got him to chase. Back-to-back strikeouts for Steven Strasburg. The Nationals defensively, Juan Soto, what a great young player he is in left field. Victor Robles, another top young player in center, and Stevenson in right. Rendon, Turner, Defoe, Knoll along the infield, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Tyler O'Neill. And O'Neill hits a high fly ball into right field. Stevenson can't come up with that one. And that is a fair ball. And it hops over the wall. And Stevenson having a rough first inning. The drop on the ball hit by Robinson, and this one should have been caught as well. And the Cardinals have an early 1-0 lead.
The ball will find you sometimes when you're having that rough day. The first one, I'm sure he knows he should have gotten to. A tougher play than this one. It does keep traveling. The wind ends up knocking this down a bit. He looks like he has a beat on it, then has to speed up. And the Cardinals are on the board.
And that one ruled a hit. And here's Matt Wieters against his former battery mate. When you faced a former catcher of yours, did you feel anybody had the advantage in those?
Well, I felt like they always knew what was
coming. That's what I mean.
Yeah, every time. Now it's still like anything else. You execute a pitch. If you're able to, put the ball down, even if they believe they know what's coming, if you put it where you want to, I still believe the pitcher has the advantage. In spring training, you're not going to try too much of a cat and mouse game. During the regular season, though, you might mix up your tendencies a bit.
Announced yesterday before the game against the Mets that Matt Wieters has made this club, so he'll be the backup catcher to Yadier Molina. 4-time All-Star, switch hitter, so versatility in that regard. Mike Schilt telling me the other day he loves how Wieters can catch and throw. Felt he came in good shape. So he spoils that pitch, and Wieters very blunt in his assessment of the teams that wanted him in the offseason. When asked why St. Louis, 4-time All-Star, this veteran that's only 44 days shy of 10 years of Major League service, he said, well, simply St. Louis is the only team that called. That's it.
Hey, honesty's the best policy.
Foul back.
Oh, and it is going to be interesting for Matt Wieters this year. He's going to get into a role that he is unfamiliar with. He's used to being the guy, or at the very least a timeshare. And we know this with Yadi Molina behind the plate. There's not a timeshare. I mean, he is the guy. He fights his manager when it's time for a day off. He just wants to be in there every single day. But I think that Matt Wieters is a very good addition to this ball club.
Wow. And that pitch, apparently a ball high and not over the middle of the plate. Maybe a little outside.
And now it's going to be a double.
You're calling it. And that one's a strike. These numbers, 18 wins, 2.83 ERA. But how about the innings? Over 200. Incredibly, 32 starts, but only 29 walks.
It's silly. I mean, there were parts of the season where he didn't walk anybody for 3 games. I think that he did that multiple times. The 200 innings one, to me, that's the one that jumps off the page. The 200 inning guy in baseball right now, he is few and far between. Only 7 in the NL last year, and Miles Michael is one of those.
There was one team that had 3 guys on their rotation, in that rotation, that had 200 innings. And that was Houston, and that was it. And that used to be commonplace.
That's a huge help, by the way.
Absolutely. This is Trey Turner, a speedster for the Nationals, and key for them will be making sure that he stays healthy. Turner at the top. Juan Soto, Anthony Rendon, Matt Adams, the designated hitter. Suzuki, Stevenson, Knoll, Defoe, and Robles. Three balls and 1 strike. And a rare walk by Miles Michaelis. Our Toyota keys to the game with Brad Thompson.
Well, for Miles Michaelis, this right here is the final tune-up. He's going to be the Cardinals' opening day starter, so it's about lengthening out. It's about just getting a good feel for all of his pitches and just getting ready. It's all about getting the work in. And for a lot of guys, here's very few opportunities left in spring. Make your mark. There are a lot of young guys right now. Maybe they won't make the team. Maybe they will. But this is a great opportunity here today for guys like Drew Robinson, for a Tommy Edman, Max Schrock. A lot of guys to leave a mark on this one.
You could see Wieters kind of look into Cardinal dugout. Michaelis twice has looked back at C.B. Buckner trying to figure out this strike zone.
Good luck with that.
Juan Soto at the plate, and it's now 1-1. Well, you got to keep an eye on Trey Turner. He is truly a stolen base threat at any point in time in the game. And it was interesting. The Nationals feel that he could steal easily 60, 70, 80 bags in.
No question.
They say that he's got the green light anytime he wants to go. And without Bryce Harper in this lineup, and Turner talked about it going into spring, he said when Harper's in the lineup, you don't want to take the chance, because Harper at any point in time with one swing, it's 2 runs, and if you get caught, he hits a solo home run. Well, you get the point.
It happens. Worth the risk, I would say, with a guy like him, though.
Yeah.
And they will be doing a lot more of that this year. Running, they've got this ball club has a ton of speed, especially off the top. Adam Eaton also. I mean, that's a nice 1-2 punch they have. He doesn't steal as many bags as a guy like Trey Turner does, but certainly some wheels out there.
They've got the shift on now for Soto. 1-2 the count, and a check on Turner. More and more you see the players wear that protective guard, base stealers especially, the hands, and that's what Turner has there in the left hand to protect. And the 1-2 pitch, Michaelis instead. Throw over to Goldschmidt. And he's running, swung on and missed, throw to second, and safe. Good throw by Wieters.
That was a quick release right there by Wieters. Good jump by Turner. Michaelis gave him a couple of looks over there. He was quick enough to the plate. He's just going to do that, and that's the danger of walking a guy like him. You see how fast Miles Michaelis is to the plate. Quick catch and throw here by Matt Wieters. Just not happening with those wheels.
Anthony Rendon. So with Harper gone, Ryan Zimmerman still under contract for the Nationals. Many that cover their team and their fan base curious about what happens for the next big free agent, which is their third baseman Anthony Rendon, and he has put up big numbers over the years.
He has, for sure, and it seems to be, we just off the top talked about the Paul Goldschmidt extension. It's extension season, and everybody is trying to get deals done to keep their superstars around. Nothing done yet for Rendon. You would believe that something will get done at some point, but who knows? You never know where the asking price is. Like you said, he's put up big time numbers over the years. I believe he's a Scott Boras client. Tend to get top dollar.
0-2 the count, and pulled foul right above the Cardinal dugout. This is a beautiful ballpark here, the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. It's a complex shared with Houston and Washington, and it really has made things easier on both Miami and St. Louis. The trips have gotten obviously much shorter. It's about I'd say 10 to 15 minute drive between Roger Dean Stadium and this complex.
Makes it so much easier to get all your work in, or if you want to do a split squad.
Exactly.
Everything is easier for all the ball clubs, and I love Florida spring training. I just enjoy it down here. But things are pretty spread out. So if you can have 4 teams within the same vicinity, it really helps. You get tired of seeing everybody at the end of spring training. It's a lot better than bus rides across the state all the time.
Fowler not very deep in right field. That may be a byproduct of the wind really blowing hard in. Rendon, pretty good pop. Pitch taken high. I mean, that's pretty shallow in right for Fowler, for a guy that is batting third in a loaded lineup, and good power.
Yeah, I think you are right, though. You saw the ball in the first inning that Drew Robinson hit just die out there, and if the wind weren't blowing in, I believe it would have been a home run.
Fly ball, left field, and there's another example of that wind blowing in. Cardinals defense this afternoon. There's Drew Robinson, his versatility on display again. He's at shortstop today. Max Schrock is at third base. Edman and Goldschmidt on the right side. O'Neill, Munoz, and Fowler in the outfield. And Matt Wieters is behind the plate.
It's nice to see Robinson be able to bounce around. We heard about his versatility coming into it. He's got some good power. He runs really well. And he's made himself a great case to make this ball club. And it's going to be a tough decision on who rounds out the bench. But he's done a very good job so far this spring.
How about this strike zone today?
Well, you never want to miss over the middle of the plate for fear it be called a ball.
Here's Matt Adams, Big City. Matt again has got himself in really good shape. Credit to him.
You know, some guys will lose weight and get into shape, but then they don't know what to do with it. Maybe you lose the power. Maybe you just lose who you are mechanically. He's just done a great job of sticking with what he does well. He's so sound mechanically as a hitter.
Hit to the right side. Diving stop. Michaelis to the bag, and what a play. The second baseman for the Cardinals, Tommy Edman, has had some kind of camp. Takes a hit away from Matt Adams. Michaelis to the bag. Tommy Edman, 4 hits yesterday. Great play here this afternoon. Finished up 41-28 as the St. Louis manager. And there's Dave Martinez, 82-80. Record as the Nationals manager last season. Quietly, the Nationals kind of turned it on at the end of last season, but fell short. Expectations again high this year.
They are, and I know it seems kind of crazy sometimes. You lose one of the biggest superstars in the game in Bryce Harper, yet everybody's still very high on them this year.
Munoz ground ball to second, handled easily by Defoe. How about Tommy Edman, the camp that he's had, and for fans that maybe haven't tuned in or seen the box scores or even the defensive plays that we've had on television on the now 14 games that we've had on the air, and we'll have another one tomorrow. I mean, this guy has had some kind of camp.
He certainly has, doing it from both sides. Switch hitter, and Tommy Edman, 4 knocks in the game yesterday. He's made web gems all over this camp. Had to range way into the hole last inning to get that ball off the bat of Matt Adams. And he is just he's impressed people, and he's a great guy. He gets it. He's smart. 3-hole hitter at Stanford.
Right. Hits a fly ball down the left field line. Soto near the sidewall and makes the catch. Cardinal fans, spring training is here and on MLB.tv. Watch select spring training games on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply for regular season games. Visit MLB.tv for details. Here's Max Schrock. 191 this spring with a home run that was very early on in camp, late February, and driven in 7. And a strike. Thursday will be in Milwaukee. The Cardinals finish up at home tomorrow in Jupiter. Exhibition game at Memphis. Cardinals actually will fly out tomorrow, head to Memphis, play the exhibition game, and then off day, a workout day, and then let's get it on.
Are the guys going to rent apartments in Milwaukee?
It's going to feel like
they're
that.
going to be there for a while. Very rarely are you in a town that long.
Looked hard at the schedule early. It's going to feel like you're in Milwaukee a bunch because you are.
Yep. Play there. Then you week and a half later, I think it is, go to Mexico for 2 games, then right back to Milwaukee.
There's a base hit. Max Schrock. Will he try for 2? He's going to test it. On his way to second base, diving in with a 2-out double for Max Schrock.
Well, you see, you get a breaking ball down and in here. Doesn't get it as down as Steven Strasburg would like it. And Schrock is thinking double right off the bat. He turns it on here right around first. Good piece of hitting and some great base running right there. Could have easily just cashed in a single.
Now Miles Michaelis. He homered last year in Milwaukee in that opening series against the Brewers.
That was a bomb.
Yes, it was. Cardinals open up with 4 against Milwaukee.
I really thought that every major league at bat I took that I was going to hit a home run. I really thought that was going to happen.
Now, did you swing like just as hard as you can? How about this? Out to left center. Speaking of home runs, that's how you do it. Miles goes deep. What were you saying?
I was thinking that every time he steps up, I believe he's going to hit a home run. Miles Michaelis, big time pop, helping himself out. He did it all year last year, helped himself with the stick.
Look at the strut. He's got the strut going, baby.
Yeah.
I got the strut. That's funny.
It is perfect.
So let's go back to
anyways,
this. Yeah.
So you see what he just did right there?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
How he got that ball up in the air, barreled it, just drove it in the gap. Home run. I thought I was going to do that every single time.
And you tried to.
Yes. Generally,
it didn't work out.
No, I rolled over to third a lot.
Yeah.
But he's got the swing.
How many hits did you get?
Look, I'm not a big stat guy, Dan, and I don't dig into stuff. It's 10.
10. Right.
Yep.
Career average?
About $1.89 maybe.
Not bad.
I don't know. Somewhere around there.
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know where I think Waino's right around the 200 mark.
Well, he's had a lot more ABs than me. That guy could swing it.
I'll tell you what, you hit above 200 with a long career.
You're doing all right.
That's right. Miles Michaelis with a home run.
I really.
That's the ground ball. It's the shift by Robinson, but Miles Michaelis, a 2-run homer. Hey, we talk about home runs, right on cue. Then you got to have a little strut. Yeah. Just strut the dugout, baby. Yeah. Oh, ain't no thing. The strut.
I think I like the strut the best.
Yeah.
Because that's like you've done it before.
Yeah, no big thing.
You knew what you were going to do after the home run.
Right. A little personality to it.
He's got it. That's how you walk into the booth.
Oh. Got a doubt.
He's
What's
got a good
up,
trot,
Brad?
too.
Yeah.
Good trot around the bags.
Yeah.
It's all about the shoulders with the strut. Yeah, there they go.
Ground ball hit to third. And Kurt Suzuki retired by Max Schrock. And there's one away. Well, you got to have confidence when you got that stash, too. You know, you got to have a little confidence, bravado. I think that's, you know, it's all part of it.
Well, it fits. I believe that if you have a mustache, you have a strut. Those two things go together.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's peanut butter and jelly right there.
Well, he knows a great, you know, stylish dresser, too.
Yes.
So it's all part of the package. That's hit out of play by Andrew Stevenson, who's had a, well, inauspicious start in right field defensively. I think I'm putting it kindly.
Yeah, I think that he's just kind of hoping the ball doesn't come back out there again.
A 3-0 St. Louis lead and a fly ball that'll carry out to left field, and the catch made by Tyler O'Neill.
Miles Michaelis, after the home run, just comes out throwing strikes, going right after everybody. He's one of my favorite guys just around the league to watch, because that's what he does. I mean, he's got the highest first strike percentage, strike one percentage in all of baseball, gets tons of ground balls, goes after everybody. You got to love the ability to do that. Any of his off speed, he can throw for strikes.
A swing and a miss by Jake Knoll. And it's 0-2. Everything off balance.
You see that just late breaking slider. Showed him the big curveball first. Then that one that looks like it's going to be the heater and just darts off the plate.
Ground ball beat this shift.
Well, he went curveball, slider, and then just threw a nice fastball down and away. Knoll just trying to defend right there and just puts it in play. You see the shift, everybody on the left side of the infield there. That shift is going to steal you a lot of outs, but every once in a while, that happens.
Now Wilmer Defoe, the switch hitting second baseman. 7 home runs, drove in 42 last year. You know, Dan Hyatt does a lot of research for us on Fox Sports Midwest.
He's the best.
Unbelievable. He sent me this dandy of a note. Brad Thompson, career 179 hitter.
Okay, that's not great.
300 hitter during the day.
I could always see the ball really well.
I find that shocking. I thought you'd be a little blurry.
Happens.
During day games.
Hit the one in the middle.
Well, for some odd reason, I thought day games might be a little tough for you. But for whatever reason, you were...
Because of the sun?
Yeah, well, of course. The sun.
How well I tan?
But in September, you were clutch.
That's when the at-bats mean something. Did I have good numbers there? Because I feel like really, I really bared down.
3 for 8 in September.
No big deal.
That's when that was the money month, and you stepped up. 3 for 8.
I'm not great at math, but that's around 375.
Yeah. 375 hitter in September. Brad Thompson. So you stepped up when the money was on the line.
Look,
Vegas guy.
Team needed me.
Thank
Always
you,
did.
Dan Hyatt.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll take any good note I can find.
Oh, that was a good one, too.
Yeah.
The problem was you were a pitcher, and apparently the numbers in September against you were 500. No.
Well,
sorry.
Honestly, that could be close.
3 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs and a runner at second. Victor Robles is on deck. Cardinals with a lead of 3-0 here in the bottom of the second. Tyler O'Neill picked up a double in the first to score Drew Robinson, and a 2-run homer with 2 outs in the top half of this inning by Miles Michaelis. Cardinals really busy here in spring training. Jose Martinez, the extension, quietly, and also Miles Michaelis, an extension, and then the news today officially with Paul Goldschmidt getting his extension.
Well, the Cardinals have done such a great job over the years of getting talent in and then keeping it. So whether it's guys that you drafted and you signed to deals, a Carpenter, a DeYoung, a Wong, or guys that you bring in and pick up and keep them around, they've been fantastic in that right. Another rare walk.
Second walk in 2 innings by Michaelis. And it brings in Victor Robles. It's been a top prospect the last couple of years for Washington, and this time last year we were talking about Robles and not Soto, and Soto wound up being the one that really jumped ahead last year and burst onto the scene in the National League.
He did for sure. Soto had a monster year, but with Bryce Harper being gone, this opens up some doors here, and both of them are going to get the opportunity to play. And I mean, you just look at how young both of them are. You know, 19 years old Soto, 20 years old for Victor Robles. It's unreal the amount of talent that they have. And we were kicking this around yesterday, just all the young talent around baseball. But these are two potential superstars. And Soto, he doesn't look like he's going to have any regression. Robles is still trying to get to that point where he just gets his foot in and stays in. There'll probably be some ups and downs, but man, they're going to be good.
1 ball and 1 strike with 2 runners on. Hits a fly ball out to left. O'Neill came in, now goes back, and it's over his head and off the wall. A 1-hopper. 1 run is in. The relay to the plate. The throw to Wieters, and not in time. A swipe tag, and C.B. Buckner says that Defoe is in there. And it cuts a lead now to 3-2. And Wieters didn't like the call. He thought he got him. And obviously no replay down here in spring training.
It was a really close play. It was a very good relay on all sides. Robles just gets this one in the air. You did see the quick break forward there by O'Neill. The wind has shifted quite a bit. It's howling out to left currently. Nice relay. Great catch and throw right there. But Defoe just beats him by an inch there.
So a double. 2 runs scored by Robles, and now Trey Turner. Good play there by Wieters.
And it's crazy how fast an inning can change. You had 2 outs very quick. Had the ground ball to the right side with the shift on, and all of a sudden we got a whole new ball game.
Turner walked, picked up a stolen base, left stranded back in the first. And now chirping from both dugouts for home plate umpire C.B. Buckner. 3-2 our score. The 2-0 pitch. That may have been the same location.
Got to prove you can hit it twice.
And a ground ball to short. Robinson up with it and makes the play. Victor Robles with a double out to left. Noel and Defoe score to get Washington on the board. Purchase of a special theme ticket, fans will take home their own Cardinals boy band t-shirt. So come early for a special performance by the boy band night on the Alltech Lansing stage in Budweiser Terrace. So get your tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
Were you just looking at my Pandora on my phone?
Yes, I was.
How'd you know?
Well, I saw your selections.
You can't go wrong with a good boy band jam. You know, it just kind of gets you in the flow of things. Nice training jam.
Is that right?
Don't act like it is that right, like you don't know.
I'm going to take your word for it.
I'm sure you are. I get into your car, I guarantee I know what's going on in there. I know. Your boy banding it up. It's going to be... What were you into? Who was your boy band?
Oh, you can't think of any boy bands, can you?
Of course I can.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you loved you some Nick Lachey, some 98 Degrees. You were always into that back in the day.
Nick Lachey is a big Reds fan.
Is he?
Well, you being a big boy band fan, like you said, you should, I guess, know that.
Guess I'm more of a backstreet kind of guy.
There's Dexter Fowler, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Guess you're not as big a fan as you said you were. And a strikeout of Fowler, and he's 0 for 2. You'd find a little Simon and Garfunkel in mine. Things that put tensions at ease for me, because
you're a party.
Well, it's a very stressful job working with you, Brad, and that ride back to Jupiter, just it calms my nerves.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I get it. I get it. Got to be able to unwind after a ball game.
That's right. Here's Goldschmidt. He struck out his first time up. A check swing. Did not go. Paul Goldschmidt officially being introduced as a Cardinal for 6 more seasons today back in Jupiter. They talked about the extension and long-term being with St. Louis.
You know, I was just excited when I got traded over here, to be honest, and, you know, didn't know if it was going to be just for 1 year or shorter or longer. And, I mean, my experience has been great so far. And, you know, this organization has a great reputation for a reason, and everything I've heard has been true since I've been here. And, you know, it's just exciting to be part of the team.
A .398 on-base percentage for his career, .532 the slugging mark, and since 2013, second among leaders in home runs in the National League. Paul Goldschmidt. One ball and 2 strikes. That pitch taken low. So 2-2 the count.
I know everybody was so excited about having Goldschmidt, just the trade in general. But most of the questions that came in were, yeah, that's great right now, but what do you do for the future? It's nice to know that the future is going to have Paul Goldschmidt being a part of it. That was a big question. Got a couple of guys that are contracts are coming up, coming close. Team holds some options. It's nice to know you've got a mainstay there in the middle of the order.
Don't see our center field camera, which shoots back into the catcher. We've lost that camera, so we apologize for that. But when it's back up and running, we'll get it to you. A couple of hops hit to short, and Goldschmidt retired. And there's 2 away. And the batter will be Tyler O'Neill. RBI double, hit down the right field line, and a ball that should have been caught by Stevenson. That was back in the first inning, and that drove in Drew Robinson, who reached on an error by Stevenson in the first inning.
Stevenson's probably wishing that the wind was like it is currently. The wind is blowing across to the left now. Would have brought O'Neill's ball back to him. It was going the other direction beforehand. And you mentioned it before, you just never know here as a fielder. I mean, you better be looking around. You better look at the flags and see what it's doing, because it is ever changing.
It's just natural.
So 2 outs and nobody on, and 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun time of year. College basketball. Spring training wrapping up. Beginning of the Major League season. We're almost there. We've had actually a couple of games in Tokyo. Ichiro Suzuki officially retired from the major leagues, and Major League Baseball around the entire game will kick off on Thursday and will come your way on Fox Sports Midwest from Milwaukee, noon, hour-long pregame show. Brad Thompson, Dan McLaughlin with you. Erica Weston will be with Jim Edmonds. Al Raboski on Thursday. Buddy Jim Hayes will be with us, and you'll have all the interviews down on the field and give you complete coverage pre and post game show. Opening day from Milwaukee, and Mike Schilt and the Cardinals embark on a new season. So many chapters throughout a baseball year.
Oh, for sure. I'm really excited for this upcoming. See, you're always excited, all right, about the season that is coming up. But this team really responded under Mike Schilt.
Trey Turner safe as O'Neill gets down the line.
I'm looking forward to his first full season. Now, I know that he's talked about this plenty of times. He hates hearing that. He's like, it's not mine, it's ours. Just like his first spring training, his first camp. It's not mine, it's ours. As you see Turner here making a really athletic play. Strong throw. But O'Neal can run. Turner's a heck of an athlete.
Oh, he's some kind of player. Now Matt Wieters struck out back in the first. A shift on with a runner at first. Wieters in this camp is hit right around 100. Thought you brought up a good point that Wieters now sends a fly ball into right. Stevenson with the catch, but Wieters, long time starter, but now adjusting to life as a backup to one of the game's best. And Budweiser, what's on tap? Miles Michaelis, Jolice Chassin. Chassin 15-8, Michaelis 18-4. From a year ago, Thursday at noon, hour-long pregame show, and we hope you join us. Juan Soto. We're in the bottom of the third, 3-2, Cardinals with the lead. And we're experiencing a little technical difficulty because of our center field camera is not functioning at this time. But I can tell you this, Tommy, Brian Shapiro, they're doing their best. They're working hard down there. They're going to get it up and running at some point. And folks, the Washington feed,
it could be worse, couldn't it?
Yeah, theirs is apparently blown up. So they're I don't think their whole truck is down. So they've got nothing.
Yeah, we got this.
We at least have this. And so, hey, we're going to make the best of it.
Well, you're going to view it as if you're here. I mean, you got a nice view. This is our view right here that you're seeing.
View. Oh, just beautiful. 2-2 the count. Well, from some of the strike calls and balls and strikes, maybe this is the best thing for you on a Saturday afternoon.
You can make up your own mind from here.
Sure. And a fly ball lifted into center. Munoz back at the wall. And it's off the base of the wall, looked like. And Soto on his way to third. And he got him. He got him. What a throw. Wow, what a throw.
That was a big time toss right there. Soto running hard. Right here. This ball hangs up. Munoz thinks it's going to get out of there. But comes up and unleashes to third base to cut him down.
And Schrock really sold it too. Great throw. That will get your attention. I'm not saying it's Rick Ankiel in Colorado, but that's a heck of a throw.
Good. That is pretty good right there.
Cardinals have always talked about Munoz's arm and put it in the holster. I love it.
Yes. Hey, you don't get a chance to do that very often. You don't get a chance to gun somebody down over at third base. You might as well let everybody know about it.
How about that one?
I love it.
So you had the strut of Miles, and now you get the gun in the holster.
This team's got
changed a little bit, huh?
I'm kind of digging it.
Huh. All right, Anthony Rendon. And one out here in the home half of the third, and that pitch taken low. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Anthony Rendon, one of the top third basemen in all of the major leagues, looks at a ball down and away, and it's 2-2. Last season, 308, 24 home runs, and he drove in 92. Big gap in left center.
It's a bit of a transition, isn't it, being around this Nationals ball club? No Bryce Harper around. Yet the expectations are right where they were before. Their expectation are they believe that they can go win a championship. You look at the guys that they roll out there. They're everyday players. You look at that starting rotation. Look at the bullpen. I mean, they have got all the pieces. It's just all about putting it together in a very tough division. I got a feeling those games are going to be fun, by the way. The Nationals-Phillies games this year.
Oh, boy.
Tad bit of intrigue there.
I would say so. Old buddy Trevor Rosenthal, former Cardinal, added by the Nationals. New look for Trevor, too. Long hair, the beard.
Looks good.
There's a high fly ball out to deep left field, and Anthony Rendon has just tied it with a long home run out to left. And Rendon has now hit his 4th home run this spring.
You see him here just pull the hands in, get this thing in the air. And I don't care what the wind is doing right now. That ball is getting out no matter what. Just a great piece of hitting right there, as you mentioned. One of the best around.
Matt Adams trying to bunt against shift. I talked to Matt about this last year. Teams were shifting against him time and again. And he said he went to Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs. Teams shifting against Anthony. We see that all the time with the Cardinals and the Cubs. And he said, look, if they're going to give me that much of the left side of the infield, you've got to do it. You've got to be able to get that bunt down and take that bag. And so he really worked on that aspect of his game. And he's back with the Nationals for a second time after 2 times with the Cardinals. And that really says something about Matt Adams. Good player to bring him back, but good citizen. I mean, you don't get asked back to a team twice, 2 different teams, unless you're a good teammate.
Oh, for sure.
Good citizen, good player.
Yeah, they love having you around. Back to the shift aspect, too, and taking what's given to you. The game will dictate oftentimes what you should do. I mean, there are going to be situations where you hit right into it. You can't shift for the double in the gap or the home run. But sometimes in tight games, you just getting on can do something.
Adams, high fly ball into deep right. Fowler back at the wall, and Big City has gone deep. And it's back-to-back home runs. Rendon. And now Matt Adams, and he picks up his 4th home run this spring.
Case in point, shift ineffective there. That was extra points. If he catches that with the child, assuming he wasn't using it as a shield.
And that's down into the corner off the bat of Kurt Suzuki. He'll trot into second base. That's now 4 straight hits. It was the double by Soto thrown out at third, trying to extend it to a triple. The back-to-back home run. Suzuki now a double. A great point, Brad. I mean, you are in mid-season form when you've got the baby, and then if you can catch the home run ball and get a souvenir out of it with the baby.
Yeah.
And
Safety
make the
first.
catch.
I mean, I feel like the
of course,
baby
safety
was
first, but
a bit away.
Watch this. Oh, yeah. I mean, and then to go after it and get in the middle of it, and the McGee jersey.
And that was a toddler, too. Like, that was some real strength there to make that play.
Initially, I did not see that, but on the replay, I did catch that, and that's why you are now turning into a premier analyst in the game of baseball.
Yeah, just because the ball goes over the fence does not mean we stop breaking down the play.
No.
A lot more that goes into it than that.
Andrew Stevenson Fly to left his first time up. Corners are in for St. Louis. 4-3 Nationals. And a pitch in the dirt and blocked nicely by the former National Matt Wieters.
Just like Stevens, who had a bit of a rocky first inning out in right field. He got another opportunity. Everything was just fine. I think that gentleman later on in the game is going to get another opportunity with the Cardinal up to bat to catch one with his child in his hands. It's going to happen. The ball will find you.
And there's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Outfield just about straight away. 57 pitches from Michaelis, and the Cardinals have talked about get to that 85 maybe to 95 100 pitch mark in the final tune-up. Now if you're his wife and you're saying, now hold on, what were you thinking, or are you proud of him?
Well, he doesn't have the ball, does he? I don't think that he came away with that one. So really the thought is, if you're going to put our child in the way of the baseball, at least get the baseball. I feel like that would be the conversation that would happen at my home. I don't know. Every family dynamic's a little bit different, though. I think she's going to be in charge of the kid now.
Yeah.
Safe.
And the 2-2. Lined into center. That'll carry to Munoz. Catch is made. Suzuki back to the bag at second. Two outs. Jake Knoll with the runner at second base.
You were talking about that pitch count for Miles Michaelis, trying to get up there 85, 95, 100 pitches. What you just try to stay away from is just the big inning. I mean, the long innings out there, because that'll get you out of the game a lot quicker. They want him to get his work in, but if you have the inning where you end up throwing 30+ pitches, that really puts a dent in what you're trying to do.
Pop foul and back for strike one. About this time last year, Adam Wainwright, the final start, spring training, got hurt, and remember, hard thrower Jordan Hicks made that start.
It was here on the final day.
That's right. And the Cardinals then had an exhibition up in Montreal, and Hicks was not supposed to make the team. And finally some of the veterans said, well, hold on. Went to Mike Matheny and others and said, Jordan Hicks has got to make this team. We're going to take care of him. Young kid. We understand what maybe some of the concerns might be. And now fast forward to now, and Jordan Hicks could be your closer this year.
I remember you and I were doing that game, last game of spring, and both of us just looking at each other, seeing the radar gun light up, seeing the shattered bats. And hey, you show up at the right time.
Things can happen.
He made a big impact.
The strikeout, and the Nationals center fielder today for the Cardinals. Primarily a infielder, but showing off the arm here. What a throw.
He played that really well off the wall. That ball just kind of hung up there off the bat of Soto, who was running hard the whole way. Better put that thing away. Might hurt somebody.
So Munoz leads it off here in the fourth, followed by Tommy Edman and Max Schrock. Steven Strasburg on the mound. And Munoz spinning away from ball one. Wind is blowing in now. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, certainly the case for every team out there. It's always health. If healthy, you're going to be okay. Well, Steven Strasburg, if healthy, had a couple of stints on the DL last year, was limited to 22 starts. But we all know this, when he's out there, he's one of the best around. He's one of the best in the game. His stuff is dominant. But he dealt with some shoulder issues. I believe had a little cervical pinch, a little nerve issue at the end of the season. Did bounce back well. But if he could stay out there, if he can make 30 starts for them.
Lined into left, and the catch is made.
they're going to be all right. You look at Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin. Those 1, 2, 3. You're kind of hard-pressed to find a better 1, 2, 3 in baseball.
I don't know about you, but I try to find, when available, and if we're not on the air, or where Washington is. I love watching Max Scherzer pitch. I mean, St. Louis native, obviously had the tremendous career at Mizzou. They retired his number in the offseason down in Columbia, Missouri. But watching him pitch is a treat. And with all the big contracts in baseball, as Tommy Edman, the switch hitter, digs in, he's been worth every penny the Nationals have paid him.
I know it's crazy to say, but he could be underpaid as far as the value goes for what he's given you year in and year out. And I'm with you there on watching him pitch. I love how fast he works. I love how
the
aggressive.
intensity.
Oh, my goodness. He's up there. He's talking to himself. He's talking to the hitter. He's talking to anybody. And he's just pumped up all the time. I love it. And I would love playing behind a guy like that that's as aggressive as he is. He had a tune-up yesterday, ended up punching out 12. Typical day. Typical day for Max Scherzer. I really do think if you have the pick all around baseball and you just get to pick one ace off of a team, I think that's the one you pick.
I think he's headed to the Hall of Fame.
100%
right now.
Every trend, everything. You look at strikeouts, you look at the innings, you look at the wins. I mean, all the
Cy Youngs
numbers.
in leagues.
Yes. No, he is on a Hall of Fame trend. Certainly.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and Edman strikes out looking, and that's number 5 for Steven Strasburg. Join us on April 7th when 30,000 fans 16 and older take home a Cardinals hooded windbreaker courtesy of Old Dominion Freight Line. Also, all kids 15 and younger receive a free ticket voucher valid for select Cardinals home games. Visit cardinals.com/promotions for more information. Here's Max Schrock, who doubled and scored first time up. Here's strike 1. Mentioned that all 16 Cardinals Hall of Famers, the living Hall of Famers in the Cardinals Hall of Fame, will be in attendance on opening day in St. Louis. Manny Machado and the San Diego Padres will be in town. The only visit by San Diego, and they get the opening day assignment to be in St. Louis.
It's always fun. Opening day is always a great time. I get excited, though, for the players that have not been a part of an opening day as a member of the St. Louis Cardinals, because it's different. It is a different feel to it. Paul Goldschmidt got to watch it from across the field last year. He'll get to be a big part of it. The ovation for him is going to be special, and I'm sure that'll be a great moment for him. There are a few guys that will be getting a first, and it's going to be a fun day for them.
2-2 the count. Would have been loud anyway, but now that he's signed that extension, it's going to be a monstrous ovation for Paul Goldschmidt. A 1-2-3 for Steven Strasburg. Defoe, Robles, Turner coming up. Rotation is set for the Cardinals. Miles Michaelis, the opening day starter. Then Jack Flaherty, Michael Wacha, Adam Wainwright, and Dakota Hudson. Worked out of the bullpen late for the Cardinals last year. The PCL Pitcher of the Year. Year before that at Double-A, Pitcher of the Year. And he was vying for the 5th spot in the Cardinals rotation, and he got it. This guy has a power sinker, and when right, and you saw it a lot down here in camp, it's a lot of foul balls, but he also possesses a slider. You'll see the swing and miss there, and you just see when he's in trouble, the double play, the ground ball, and he's able to get out of trouble.
It's huge. It is huge. I was so excited for him to win this gig. He was great out of the bullpen for them last year. See the opponent's average under 200. I mean, he goes right after guys. But having that ground ball, having that one pitch where you can get out of anything. You see the nasty pitch right there. The slider there to Defoe. You see that thing? He thought it was going to be a sinker, thought it was going to stay up, and it just dropped off the table.
Nothing into the count. Shift on now, and a pitch taken high. I mean, the bottom line is really good stuff.
Yes, for sure. I remember last season during the season talking to Chris Carpenter about Hudson. He had just gotten back. Carpenter had from Memphis. I said, tell me about Dakota. He said, this kid is the real deal. He will get through as a starter. And you know this, Chris Carpenter could sweat when he was pitching. All right, he'd go through like 6 jerseys out there. I mean, he just was one of those guys. He said that Dakota Hudson, and this isn't because he wasn't putting everything into it, it's just because of how efficient that he was. He said he'd get through 6-7 innings without breaking a sweat. And he's just one of those guys. Gets tons of ground balls, uses his defense, can get his punch outs. I think last year coming out of the pen, he tried to be a little bit too fine sometimes. Ended up walking a few guys. You get the punch out there, slider in, ties up Defoe. But that's part of the learning process. Is just trusting your stuff and believing in it. That's a great pitch right there. Starting on the inner half. Slider keeps on boring in on Defoe.
Made his major league debut last season, late July, against the Cubs. He was the 34th overall pick in 2016. 13-3 last year with Memphis. And then came up with the Cardinals and went 4-1 in 26 games. College pitcher at Mississippi State. Victor Robles. And a base hit into center. Think of the speed that this team possesses. The Nationals and the pressure that they could be putting on the opposition.
They are going to be really tough. Robles, as you said, he runs really well. We've already seen it with Trey Turner early in this game. Swiped himself a bag. Adam Eaton can run well. Soto can move. I mean, they've got a lot of guys that just do it. And you see Robles right there. I mean, it's a routine single up the middle. He's still busting it just in case something happens. Once again, young, 20 years old. We were kicking this around the other day in St. Lucie, just talking about how tough the national, the division is going to be, the East. And I still think, even without Bryce Harper, they were the pony that I picked to make a run. I believe in this staff. I believe that they've got the pieces. But it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to see what the Phillies have done. I mean, they've turned over so many pieces. Got Bryce Harper, obviously, made the trade for JT Realmuto. It was a big one. Bring in McCutchen, Robertson in the bullpen.
Could be a double play ball. 4, 6, 3 on the double play, and that's what we talk about with Dakota Hudson. Ground ball after ground ball. And that means the potential of double plays. 4, 6, 3. 4-3 Nationals. Hyundai. The Hyundai SUV lineup has always been better. Now it's bigger. Visit your local Hyundai dealer or buy Hyundai.com today. Buy Shelter Insurance for your auto, home, and life. We're your shield. We're your shelter. And buy the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket played gives back to Missouri schools, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. This is Scott Hurst at the plate, and he's had some big games here at this ballpark. Cardinals third-round selection, 94th overall in 2017. Strasburg still in the game. Zach Collier takes over in center field. Collier was a high draft choice, you may recall, a while back with the Phillies, former first-round pick by the Phillies. He's in center field. Hurst had a big night against Houston very early on for the Cardinals in this camp. And a swing and a miss.
These are great opportunities also for the organization to see him in a game like this. You look at the numbers right there. Last season in the minors, very good. Getting a chance, though, to see him against Steven Strasburg.
He was a part of the STEP camp. And STEP camp, it stands for the Spring Training Early Program, STEP camp. And that's the top minor league prospects that come in and have a chance to work with guys like Jason Isringhausen, Ryan Ludwig, Gary LaRocque, running the minor league system of the Cardinals. And the 2-2. And a strikeout as that catches the outside corner. By the way, congratulations to Gary. He takes home the prestigious George Kissel Award. For those that don't know, George, of course, the longtime minor league coach and manager, instructor, that his hands all over baseball still to this day. And that award goes to one person that has had such an impact in the minor leagues in the Cardinals system. And that was given to Gary about a week ago or so. There's Robinson and a fly ball out to left. And out of play. Mike Schultz has been the recipient of that award before. Mark DeJean officially retired yesterday and did it in style. I'm not sure if Brad Thompson saw that or not.
He did do it in style. Had him on the card, had everybody in the camp lined up on the warning track, giving them high fives. DJ was my manager in 2004 with the Tennessee Smokies. And one of my favorite people, one of my favorite managers for sure that I've ever been around. So fun to play for, learned so much. And you talk about guys that have helped out people throughout the organization over the years. Mark DeJean, absolutely one of those. Fitting send-off.
Robinson a swing and a miss, and Mike Schultz leans on Mark DeJean daily. I mean, those two either text or talk by phone every single day. And there's a handful of guys that will do that with Mike Schultz, including Tony La Russa, who is working for the Boston Red Sox. Dave Dombrowski. Red Sox, by the way, this must be extension day around Major League Baseball with Paul Goldschmidt, but Chris Sale extended with a 5-year deal, the lefty. There's a strike to Dexter Fowler, who's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
I bet there are a lot of teams out there that are upset that Chris Sale's not going to hit the open market.
Or Paul Goldschmidt.
Yes.
And others that are
Arenado.
Yeah, that are saying let's take the money right now and the contract. Popped up. Suzuki gives it a look and it's out of play.
The Sale contract, was it 5 years, 150? I believe right around that
there. Yeah, 145, 150.
That's
something
pretty good
like that.
cash if you can get it. And he likes where he's at in Boston.
John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, said essentially we made a mistake by not locking up early John Lester, and he went to the Cubs. So he said, I'm not going to do that with Chris Sale. We made the trade, gave up some great prospects with the White Sox, and let's make sure we take care of Chris Sale.
Well, Chris Sale, we talked about Max Scherzer earlier, how if you're going to handpick one player, you know, I think I would pick Scherzer as that starter. Sale is the other guy in that conversation, really. Clayton Kershaw, when he's healthy. There are a handful of guys around this league that are just special. And Sale's one of those guys. And we've seen now around baseball, not just the pending free agents signing these multi-year extensions, but you're also seeing young guys also getting financial security and doing it.
Fowler strikes out for the 3rd time, and we're midway through 5. Cardinals Hall of Fame voting is live, and fans can vote at cardinals.com/HOF. And the candidates, who's who among some of the greats in Cardinal history: Hernandez, Izzy, Morris, Renteria, Roland, and Tudor. And we'll have a special announcement on Fox Sports Midwest April 26th. Carter Kieboom. And so we had a pinch hitter, by the way, for Dakota Hudson, but spring training, he'll re-enter and continue to work here. Kieboom is in for Soto. He took over
be in the minors.
You mentioned that you know, there are young players that are being locked up. One of those, and the Astros right now are busy. Their third baseman, Alex Bregman, he signed a $100 million deal, and he had, you know, plenty of time before he would even hit a couple of years of arbitration and then free agency. But he signs a long-term deal to stay with Houston. And Justin Verlander, reports are a 2-year extension for nearly $70 million for him. Garrett Cole also a free agent to be. So, you know, we'll see if they want to approach him or what's happening behind the scenes with him. But they're trying to, you know, keep some of that intact.
You got good players, lock them up, man.
With Tampa Bay, the Cy Young Award winner, he signs on. With
after 1 year in, $50 million. Snell is an interesting case. I mean, he wins the Cy Young. I mean, he's a stud, and it looks like he's going to be one for quite some time. And $10 million a year for an ace is not that much money, but you got 1 year in the league. That's financial security for the rest of your life. I think I would do the same thing if I were in his shoes. Just take that. Now, if he goes through the arbitration process and just plays it year by year, he'd make more money than that, probably. But you just never know. You never know what's going to happen in this game. And clubs, especially with the younger players, and there are some guys that end up betting on themselves, clubs try to go out there and keep a player around, and it's beneficial on both sides oftentimes.
Leadoff walk for Keyboom. And this is Yadiel Hernandez. Anthony Rendon out of the ball game. Well, Paul Goldschmidt addressed the media today in Jupiter at the Cardinals complex. And we've mentioned, as we've gotten to know Paul a little bit, we're going to get to know him quite well now for the, what would you have to say, the duration of his career, which includes a no-trade portion of his contract. So remainder of his career, you'd have to say, would stay in St. Louis. But he said the business side, he wanted to be handled by his agent. He did not want to get involved with that. Could be two. Diving stop, Robinson, and double play. What a play up the middle. Robinson to his left. And that, with versatility, helps you make this club.
No question. He's been doing it with the bat. We've seen him with the glove all over the infield. And this ball is scorched. It's hit hard. You see him just dive. Nice flip. Tommy Edman with a nice turn. Another double play here for Dakota Hudson. Man, that's a nice play.
There's Matt Adams, who is homered here today. And was back in the third of Rendon, and Adams went back-to-back against Michaelis. And for Adams, that was his fourth this spring. There is the business side and then the baseball side. And Goldschmidt, he's very business-like in his approach to what happens between the white lines.
Certainly.
And did not want to be dealing with that. And I would imagine there's the part, you know, Brad, that and you know this, you've done it as a player. You don't want to hear about it. You don't want that noise. You just want to concentrate on staying in the game and playing the game.
Yeah, that stuff will take care of itself. But you don't want to have to deal with it throughout the season. There are other things to focus on, and he was able to get that thing done. And the Cardinals and Paul Goldschmidt, I think this is going to be a nice marriage for the next couple of years.
Strikeout of Matt Adams. The Nationals have the lead as we move to the sixth. It's 4-3.
So, I mean, for me, I was just focused on playing and just kind of, you know, let whatever would happen off the field. Let my agent kind of handle it and let them talk with the Cardinals. And, I mean, I think the most important thing for me was getting ready for opening day and for the season. I think I owe that to, you know, the team, all my teammates here and the organization. I mean, that's why we're here, is to go out there and play baseball and try to win and try to bring another championship back here. And, you know, I'm just, hopefully we'll be a small part of that. So I think, like I said, the business side is what it is, and my focus was just on baseball.
Well, there'd been a lot of talk about the first extension that Goldschmidt had signed with Arizona being very team friendly because of the huge numbers that he had put up, MVP type numbers, as Mendoza looks at a strike. But now he signs an extension with St. Louis, and the Cardinals have him long term.
Yeah, the first one, 5 years, $32 million. And as you said, if he just went through the process, he would have made a lot more than that. But there's the security in it, and the fact that
Evan Mendoza with a drive into center. Wynn knocks that down, and that's the first out here in the top of the sixth.
you know that your family, you know that you are set for life with that one. And then you let baseball do what baseball does. And we know the work that he puts into everything, and you know the type of player and the type of person that he is. Trusting himself, and he believed that he was going to get to this point, and finds himself a really nice landing spot here in St. Louis. That doesn't always happen, where like you get traded somewhere and then that is the spot. But we've seen it a bunch here already with the Cardinals over the years. They've been able to trade and keep guys around, and it's a good place to play.
Mike Maddox on the walkie-talkie.
Over. Did we establish that?
No.
Did we talk to anybody today about that?
Nope, we wanted to.
That'll be tomorrow's conversation.
Couldn't find out.
Yeah.
I end the conversation with the bullpen. And Brian Eversgerd, the bullpen coach. They talk about Goldschmidt, you know, and he signs for that money because of what he does at the plate, clearly. But a Gold Glove defender. But the conversations he has with everyone, and here he is talking to the pitching coach, and how he talks about his own teammates and his pitchers, what they do to him, what pitchers are doing on his own team to the opposition, as O'Neill picks up a base hit into left field.
It's a tremendous resource, having that guy around. Hey, what do you see here? What do you see out of this guy? What have you seen in the past? By the way, I was thinking about that today as we had Miles Michaelis start this game, who throws a ton of strikes, gets a lot of weak contact, a lot of ground balls, and then currently in the game, Dakota Hudson is pitching for the Cardinals. Turbo sinker, lots of ground balls. Both guys in your starting rotation. Man, that guy is going to help defensively. Over there, he's going to help everybody around the infield, and he's going to help those pitchers. Michaelis had a monster year already last year. Dakota Hudson had a great year in AAA and was a great member of the bullpen last year, but they're going to get even better with that defense behind them.
Also on the personal side, they talked about in Arizona, Paul and his family, his wife, they have 2 young children. Very much a charitable family, and some you'll hear and read about, watch, and a lot of it you won't, but gives back an awful lot in the community too, gets involved. We'll see that in St. Louis too.
Kind of sounds a little bit like
Matt Holliday,
another superstar. Exactly.
Right. We had a great conversation last night. We went out to dinner with Ryan Ludwig, and Ryan is here in camp working with the young players. Here's Matt Wieters, and you know, we were talking a lot of baseball last night, which made it fun, and getting into some of the young players and just talking about the teams that you guys were on and some of the fun players, fun times, favorite holidays too.
Yes.
But also some of the current major league players. And we got into Goldschmidt, and he said to both of us, you're going to love, and I mean, he was emphasizing, you're going to love this guy. And obviously Ryan is in those meetings with the coaches and some of the veterans, and he said he is everything that Cardinal baseball is about.
Yep. Luddy can be a tough sell, by the way.
Yes.
You better be checking all the boxes, or he's not going to give you his ringing endorsement.
As we found out on certain players.
Very true. None of the Cardinals, at least.
Yes.
He's very high on some of the young kids in the organization too, and
runner goes, and that's a sinking liner and a base hit into right. O'Neill had to stop at second, make sure that ball wasn't caught, and a base hit for Matt Wieters.
It's just nice to see those guys, a guy like Ryan Ludwig, and I know a lot of people watching right now have had the opportunity to sit and talk hitting with him, but he's so intelligent. He's helping these guys out big time. Nice to see that with Matt Wieters.
Well, the thing I love about any of those players like a Brian Ludwig, Jason Isringhausen, that are around the club, they have so much to offer because of so much of what they went through on and off the field with injuries, rehab. You know, kind of had to start over. And that was the case with Ryan Ludwig. A top prospect, was thought to be a top 10 pick. And it didn't quite work out that way. Then had multiple injuries, career-threatening injuries. And then eventually, through, to his credit, hard work, made it. Tough play here. Bases are loaded for St. Louis. Sanchez couldn't come up with it. That's do or die. Very tough play. And Jairo Munoz looks like a screaming liner in the books. But it's a single, and the bases are loaded for St. Louis.
He knew, though, that was going to be in a dead zone right there. And if he busts it over to first base, he's got an opportunity. The only way to get him here was with the bare hand. Just not able to come up with that one.
But I think young players, you know, they know the resume of those guys. They see it. All-stars, postseasons, silver sluggers, those kind of things. And that resonates with young players.
It resonates for sure, but I really believe what you were talking about before, the road resonates even more. Like how you got there. Because it's easy to look at the back of a baseball card or go on Baseball Reference like, oh man, look at this guy, it must come easy for him, and then find out no, that's not really the case. I was in your spot. I was doing exactly what you were doing. I have the same doubts that you have about your career. I faced failure that you did, and I think that you can learn a lot from that. You can learn a lot from somebody else's experiences.
Well, Tommy Edman here, bases loaded. No balls, 2 strikes. Edman is fly to left and struck out. Pitch count at 94 for Steven Strasburg. Right-hander had been throwing for the Nationals in their bullpen. Mentioned that Tommy has had a really good camp. He'll be at Memphis this year, at least to start, but only a phone call away, and he's made that kind of impression down here on scouts, the front office, the major league staff. It's been outstanding. The 1-2. He struck him out. Got him on the inside corner. Away, and then busted him in with that fastball. 9 strikeouts for Steven Strasburg.
You see this thing just tail back. I mean, that was Maddox-esque right there. Just starts it at the hip, bends it back over, and after you saw away with the changeup a couple of times, there's not much you can do with that. You tip your cap and say, all right, maybe next time.
Here's Max Schrock. 2 outs, bases loaded. You know, Strasburg a couple of times is pitched out of trouble here today. And the Cardinals have missed a few opportunities against this big right-hander. Schrock a double back in inning number 2 and a run scored. Puts it on the ground. Little squibber. Tough play here for Sanchez, and safe at first. He beat it out. Sanchez did everything he could. Great pick at first. O'Neill scores, and we're tied 4-4. And it's a 2-hit day for Max Schrock.
You put the ball in play, you never know what might happen. It looks like this might be the end of the road here for Steven Strasburg. But Schrock's just busting it out of the box. Very nice pick over there at first.
That'll be it for Steven Strasburg. Nice round of applause for him. Dave Martinez will make the change. Is tomorrow at noon, the Cardinals and the Marlins, and you can find us on Fox Sports Midwest tomorrow at noon, and then we'll break camp. After that, season opener, noon, hour-long pregame show from Milwaukee. September call-up last year, Austin Williams for the Nationals, and he dominated AA and AAA in the bullpen. And the Nationals brought him up in September. And here's Nolan Gorman. Now, the last time he was at this ballpark, he hit a monster home run. Put it up on that grassy berm, if you will, in right center on a long home run. 18 years of age. And a check swing and a strike. And it's 0-1. Cardinals so high on this young man.
It's a good spot to get him in also. I realize it's spring training, but it means a little bit more here. Nolan Gorman, as you mentioned, 18 years old. See the numbers there in the minor leagues. They were great, but you got yourself a tie ball game, 2 outs. Let's see what kind of an at bat he can put together here.
0-2. And here it was last weekend. Flashback. And I mean a long home run. In the hole here with the bases loaded. 2 outs. Top of the 6th. And the next pitch to Gorman. He got him. Took something off it. And the Cardinals strand the bases loaded. But the infield hit by Schrock. And the RBI. I did up. Cardinals has been on display. And it's with guys that are interchangeable and versatile in this game.
It's huge. And every manager wants to have guys like that. We saw Munoz with the great throw. Robinson starting an unbelievable double play right there with a hard hit ball up the middle. And Dakota Hudson is a guy that gets a ton of ground balls. This guy's going to be busy.
Fly ball into right. There's Dexter Fowler. And Kurt Suzuki is the first out in the home half of the 6th. 4-4 our score. Give me your impressions of Mike Shildt so far in his first camp running it as a major league manager.
Well, I think that we already saw how this team responded to Mike Shildt last year. We saw the numbers under him, 41 and 28 when he took over, but you can just see how well he communicates with all of his guys. You see a nice little ground ball right there. Comebacker. Hudson gets it and gets it over. He communicates so well. Everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be. Everybody knows what's expected. And that's important. Communication is one of the biggest things when it comes to just managing human beings. Not just baseball players, but human beings. And he understands that. And he's thoughtful in the way that he goes about things. But he also has a big-time attention for detail. If something's not done right, he's going to make sure that it is. I think it's been a fantastic camp, and I know that the offense was an issue early on and people were worried about it. Certainly gotten a lot better here recently, and hopefully that's something that carries on to opening day. But I think that Mike Shildt and his staff have done a fantastic job.
So 2 outs. Jake Knoll at the plate. And that pitch up and in. Knoll today. Base hit and a run scored, and also a strikeout. Final tune-up. Miles Michaelis, and he gave way to Hudson. That pitch popped up. That's Francisco Pena now, the catcher, calling for it, and a 5-pitch inning for Dakota Hudson. We move to the 7th. All tied up. 4-4. Reminder that our Hall of Fame car parade bobblehead is coming up. Might get Whitey, Ozzie, Bruce. You don't know who you're going to get until you walk through the gates of Busch Stadium. Presented by Ford. Get your tickets, Cardinals.com/promotions. Cardinals baseball, time to fly. We know that guy. Sitting in that dugout, or I guess standing in that dugout.
That guy is all over the place, is what he is. Jim Edmonds up here with you, down there with the guys. Got himself a nice new title, it looks like. Also being named recently, signs on as a special assistant to the Cardinals. And man, he has helped out so many guys throughout the organization. You see him and Paul DeYoung just talking baseball right there. That is a smart baseball man, as you very well know.
Call him a savant.
His recall is amazing to me. But we'll talk about games that happened a long time ago, and he'll be able to tell you the count.
That's Landon right there. That's Landon Edmonds. And Jimmy will tell you point blank that reason that he is in uniform is to do that. I mean, he wanted to get, first of all, he wanted to do it. And there's a strikeout of Robinson. He wanted to get back in uniform to coach. Now, a lot of the players would come up to Jimmy looking for advice, whether it be defensively or even just, yeah, hey, what are you seeing? I mean, you've done that too with other guys that maybe not are in uniform, or somebody that is back home that has seen you a lot. Hey, what are you seeing on video? What are you seeing in the games? I mean, players do that all the time. Well, players would do that from time to time with Jimmy as Dexter Fowler's at the plate. He's had a tough day, 0 for 3. That's cool there. He's teaching his son. That's a neat shot. But Mike Schilt and Jimmy, as Dexter hits it into the shift, Mike would come to me and say, you know, what's Jimmy picking up? And I said, well, Mike, there's some things that you two need to talk. So those two talked and got together, and John Mozeliak, and they worked out an agreement. But Jimmy said, one of the things I really want to do is bring my son down. He loves the game, and be important if I could have my son down. And Mike said, absolutely. He said, what we're really trying to do here is have a family atmosphere with this team. And that wasn't necessarily the case with youngsters around the ballpark with others. And Jimmy will say that. He said that on some of our telecasts, that, you know, that just wasn't the way that sometimes it was handled. And under Mike Schilt, it is. And so once that was part of it, and I was walking with Jimmy a couple weeks ago, he said, well, where's your son? So why isn't he in uniform? And he said, well, Mike, he's in school, but during spring break, he's coming down. He said, well, I expect him in uniform, in the cages, with the glove on, shag and fly balls. Let's go.
That's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And so,
and you think about it, you know how long of a career Jimmy had, and that's a lot of being gone, you know, and it's a big-time commitment when you put on that uniform in whatever capacity. So he's able to have his son around. That's really neat.
It's awesome. So you're going to see a lot of Jimmy in the booth, in uniform, and teaching. As presented by the authority of the Cardinals, it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cardinals. Defoe retired. Hudson just ho-hum, huh?
Yeah, after a 5-pitch inning last inning, 1 pitch, 1 out here. When you got a turbo sinker like he does, you just go right after people.
Now Collier.
Dakota Hudson's ball too. Not only does it have a lot of sink to it, as you can see there, that one runs a little bit more, but it is firm. I mean, he's 94, 95, 96. Just heavy. There are some guys that just have a heavy baseball. When you play catch with it, it just feels different. Jason Isringhausen was one of those guys. He's got a heavy ball.
There's a base hit into right for Collier. Well, anytime that you would come into a ball game, I would say, well, here's Brad Thompson, one of the fastest workers in the game, and it's going to be sinker after sinker after sinker, ground ball, ground ball, ground ball. And you had a good one, really good one, exceptional. Let's get into Hudson here, and let's get into a sinker. You knew how to throw a very good one. How do you do it? What's the grip? How does it work?
Well, it's a 2-seam fastball, essentially, just 2-seam fastball called the sinker. But the main thing is just keeping your hand on top of it. And some guys, you know, will try to throw one,
Line drive into right, and how about a double play? That's Dylan Carlson. His throw in, no, not in time.
Almost. Would have been the third double play. That one wasn't the traditional style right there. But some guys will try to throw the sinker and have a hard time turning it over. There are different arm slots. There are different arm paths that tend to work for it. As you see this ball driven out to right field. Safe by about a step. But he just does a great job, does Dakota Hudson, of just staying on top of that thing, working down on the zone. Every once in a while, you'll see his hand get to the side of it, and instead of sink, because that's out of a sinker, you'd like to move on two planes. You'd like to have it moving horizontally arm side, but you really want that sink down in the zone, that vertical sink. And if you get around it, it gets sideways, but he stays on top of it so well, and he throws it hard. The biggest thing for me is I had to remember to not be too fine. The movement takes care of a lot. So if you start that on a third of the plate, as opposed to starting it on the black, you're going to be in better shape. That ball's going to move to where you want it to. And he does a great job of that. He fills up the strike zone. He doesn't try to be too fine, especially today. He's done a great job of that. And it'll be a learning process. Plus, he's got a nasty slider.
Pretty good one. Carter Kieboom at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. We're tied 4-4. Bottom of the 7th. Runner at first base, Collier. Well, the Reds get terrible news today with their all-star second baseman, Scooter Gennett. He has a right groin strain, expected to miss 8 to 12 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So David Bell will have shortstop Jose Peraza move over to second base. And remember, they signed Jose Iglesias, who's a terrific defender, former Detroit Tiger. He'll become the starting shortstop. And Kyle Farmer, who is battling for a infield spot, he could also be a catcher. He'll come back and take the final bench spot, but that is a blow to the lineup there. Scooter Gennett, outstanding player, but 8 to 12 weeks he's going to miss.
That's a long time, and we've seen it firsthand what Scooter Gennett can do. They've got enough guys over there. I think that offense will still be okay without him, but they'll certainly be missing him.
Broken bat slowly hit, and Munoz with the play. 4-4. Great work by Dakota Hudson. We head to the 8th. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Ford, the official car and truck of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tied 4-4. 8th inning rolls in. Beautiful day here in Florida. West Palm Beach. Well, the Nationals wasted no time. They went out, free agency hit, and got Trevor Rosenthal. 1-year deal, option for 2020. Pays him $7 million.
A lot of incentives as well.
A ton of them. Remember, Trevor had Tommy John surgery. Went to a showcase in St. Louis. He was hitting upper 90s, touched 100, and said, yep, we'll bring him in. And he's been hitting right around there, 96 to 100. Typical Trevor Rosenthal. All-Star in 2015 and led the majors with 93 saves in 2014 and 15 with the Cardinals.
If all incentives and options are hit and picked up within this deal, he could earn $30 million over 2 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Tyler O'Neill at the plate, and a base hit into right field. And we forget how good Trevor was. He was the 8th youngest pitcher in the history of the game to get to 100 saves.
See him trying to throw the slider right there. We were talking about how firm the fastball is. That slider, though, has been very good. We've seen it. Just backs up on him.
Francisco Pena. O'Neill, runner at first base. Trevor did hit 100 first time in a long time on the gun, and that was against the Cardinals actually in late February in a game, and Evan Mendoza was at the plate. Rosenthal hit triple digits, and yep, I'm back.
I'm sure that felt good. It's a long road rehabbing, especially Tommy John, and then to be able to come back. And fortunately for him, I mean, he's got the track record, he's got the great arm, he's able to get a nice contract with the Nationals, but he's going to be a big part of things for them.
Pena gets the bunt down, and Rosenthal flips to first for the out, so the go-ahead run in scoring position. It's, I guess, a fine line. I mean, you had Tommy John surgery, but for a guy like Rosenthal that throws so hard, you know, you're established in terms of people know your track record, but you want to come back and you want to throw it again. You want to be that guy, but I'm sure
you're going to harness it.
Yeah, your manager,
be patient.
your GM, everybody, your pitching just we know it'll be there. Just relax.
Yeah. Well, it's a difficult situation too when you're doing it like he was. I mean, he was out there rehabbing essentially on his own without a club.
Right.
And it makes it more difficult. You don't have the same exact resources that you normally would, but he did a great job. Got himself ready. And you look at the bullpen for the Nationals. Doolittle, Rosenthal, made the trade for Kyle Barraclough, former Cardinal farmhand who had some great years with the Marlins. Their back end of the bullpen looks pretty good.
After the Cardinals on opening day signed right-hander that did not work out.
Greg Holland.
And then the Nationals picked him up for the stretch run, and he was very good. And that actually helped them in that stretch run, but they had to remake their bullpen coming into the season. That's why they had Doolittle, Rosenthal, Barraclough. Barraclough at one point, as you talked about, was in the Cardinals system, and then it was Steve Cishek. Cardinals got him for a stretch run a few years ago and gave up Barraclough.
You know, it is funny when you look at all the deals that the Cardinals have made over the years, all the trades that are out there. The worst ones that you look back are a couple of relievers, really. That's doing a pretty good job. Barraclough was great. He was the Cishek trade.
Right.
Luke Gregerson went on to have a fantastic career back with the organization. Slowed right now with arm problems, but he was part of the Khalil Green trade. You look, that's a pretty darn good track record. There are a lot of organizations out there. There are a lot of teams that are saying, man, I wish I had that trade back. The Cardinals don't have too many of those. They've been very smart, very fortunate.
Now Tommy Edman, go ahead run at second base with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. $6,195 here today. 6195. In attendance, ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Did show last year the importance of spring training for a pitcher in particular. Greg Holland was just not ready to go.
No, and
there's no other way to put it.
Honestly, and you look at there were a handful of pitchers that signed late. Lance Lynn had his struggles early on. Signed late. The only guy that signed pretty late and ended up still having good numbers, Jake Arrieta. I mean, really was the only one from the jump that did well. It's hard. You need to be there. You need to be getting innings. It's different just doing it on the side, or maybe you're going to your local college or high school. It's not the same.
It does make you wonder about Kimbrel when he signs. I don't think it's if, it'll be when. And Dallas Keuchel, same thing.
Yeah, and organizations are, if you're going to sign these guys, and once again, it's a when, not an if, these guys will have jobs. It's how patient can you be
right
before they're ready, because maybe you got to send them down for a couple of weeks and you go have your spring training, or maybe it's even a month, you know, for some of these guys. You just never know. I'm sure both of them are ready. I'm sure both of them have been throwing and doing everything that they need, but it's a little bit different.
Here's a 1-0 out of play by Max Schrock. Rosenthal also reunited with Derek Lilliquist, pitching coach in St. Louis, now in his second year with Washington. Mike Maddox was in Washington, now with St. Louis. And the 1-1 taken high. Derek Lilliquist was a rehab coordinator for many years. Lived down here.
Yep. Lilly was actually my first ever pitching coach in Peoria. He was the pitching coach there, and I love playing for Lilly. Lilly's a straight shooter. Tell you exactly what you need to hear. Not always what you want to hear. If you're not doing things right, he's going to let you know about it. But he's also tremendously helpful. So much knowledge. And he found himself a pretty good landing spot over there with the Nationals and that staff that they've got.
I'd say so. Corbin, Scherzer, Strasburg.
If you like that sort of thing.
If you like that sort of thing. And the 3-2 pitch to Max Schrock. Runners off with this pitch from first and second. No time is called and granted late. Coming off of Tommy John, and then all of a sudden you get this. That did what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, you let it in. Yeah, you can't. If you slow yourself down there, I don't care if you're coming off of a surgery or not. That can hurt you.
And now the base is loaded, and Jose Martinez coming up. Well, when you think about late inning situations, and here comes Derek Lilliquist, this would be the kind of situation you'd have in regular season play. Hard thrower, and you think about a guy that could turn on a fastball. This is the guy.
For sure it is. He's going to draw this assignment quite a bit this year, and way more. As we've talked about it in the past, he'll get his ABs, he'll get his starts, but this is going to be a role for him. And the beauty of a guy like Jose Martinez is that he drives the ball all over the place. So late innings, you're going to get guys that throw really hard. Trevor Rosenthal, great example. But you're also going to get guys that have that nasty slider, that have that off-speed pitch, that can dot down and away. And he does such a great job of staying with it, driving the ball the other way. He's going to pick up a lot of RBI like that. See the numbers last year. 352 as a pinch hitter. That is a nice weapon to have off the bench.
One pitch to Martinez. Little flare out to shallow left, and a diving catch. Rosenthal is off the hook. Game-saving catch in left field.
Dakota Hudson has been sensational today in relief of Miles Michaelis. You get the ground balls. He's been in and out, breaking bats, and one of his final tune-ups before we see him in the rotation for the Cardinals. So 4 innings, couple of hits, no runs, 1 walk, and it's been a pair of strikeouts.
He's been looking good.
Ooh.
That fine-tuning. It's been a great spring for him, and it's always fun to come in, especially for an organization, and know that you have competition. You have a lot of very capable guys, and you look at the AAA roster, and you look at the rotation, you got a lot of guys that you feel comfortable going down and getting, whether it be a Gomber or a Ponce de Leon. But you had a clear guy emerge, and Gant had a great spring also and could have easily gotten that job. But Hudson has just been so good.
1 ball, 1 strike. Yadiel Hernandez. We're tied 4-4, home half of the 8th. Big gap in right center. Slap foul. And tap foul again. So Hudson, the pitch count, even though he's in inning number 5 of his work today, is only at 40 pitches.
That's quite efficient. He's just going after guys. He's gotten a couple of double plays as well. Had a great one, the second double play. A nice play by Drew Robinson up the middle.
And a fly ball lifted out to left. And the catch made. A lot of reasons to catch a game and even more reasons to score your tickets at StubHub. StubHub has the best selection of 100% MLB verified tickets available even after first pitch. StubHub, official partner of the Cardinals. Armand Upshaw. RBI and a run scored this spring. And he struck him out.
Seen Hudson a lot with the sinker away. He dots this one on the inner half and just freezes Upshaw right here. A little comeback. It's a good pitch. That's a hard pitch to execute, too, when you have that sink, because you know you can't leave it over the middle of the plate. So you got to keep your arm up. You got to make sure you get in a good position.
That's a la Greg Maddux.
It is. Nice comeback sink, but it's dangerous. It's a dangerous pitch if you leave it over the middle. Got to start it in. He did.
Spencer Keyboom. I mean, that's the kind of pitch the left-handed batters, they give up on that. Starts out at your hip or your knee and comes back in. Base hit into left.
Especially when you have the lefty, you have him looking away. They know the sinker that Dakota Hudson has. They know that he can throw a changeup off of it. They know that he's got the slider coming in. But when you prove that you can dot up the fastball in there, well, the hitter's not going to be leaning over the plate. That just opens it up. .20 with a sinker like Hudson. You throw it down the middle. You make them do the work. throw it down the middle, let it work, get a nice little ground ball to shortstop.
Three 3-0 the count with 2 outs. And the runner at second base. No activity for the Cardinals in their pen. Right-handed pitcher for the Nationals. There's a strike.
Still got a few more days here until the regular season starts. One more Grapefruit League game tomorrow. Have the exhibition game against the Memphis Redbirds on Monday. But still a little bit of intrigue when you come to looking at the bullpen of who's going to end up being there. Because Chasen Shreve was DFA'd, right? So currently right now, I mean, you got one lefty for sure in that bullpen in Andrew Miller. Got a lot of good arms down there. I mean, somebody's going to end up being left out of it. Got a few guys with options. The bench still has some intrigue around it due to the fact that we saw Drew Robinson today have a big day. Munoz has been doing some great things. Jed Jerko has been dealing with the calf a little bit. I mean, I think that there are a couple of little things here still to sew up in the last couple of days.
Hey, with Jerko, the Cardinals would love to see him get on the backfields. Mike Schultz talked about this, others, and take just a round of at-bats live.
Bouncing around field to field.
Exactly.
Lead off every game or lead off every inning.
He's, live pitching.
Yep.
Get those games, but you got to run. See him run. I don't think getting in a box and hitting has been the problem. It's just put the ball in play and run it out.
He's been able to hit in the cage. He's been able to do stuff like that, but it's actually playing the game, moving laterally when you're out in the field.
Jake Knoll with a fly ball into left, and there's Tyler O'Neill. So, the Nationals strand 2. We played 8. We're tied 4-4. Back to the second inning, and Miles Michaelis, our Budweiser player and play of the game.
I'm not sure I realized at the time actually how good of a pitch that was. I think it was down and away at the knees. He just goes out there and gets it, has that little shimmy, that strut that you always have walking into the booth.
Absolutely.
It's fun to see.
You know what's up.
I know
What's up.
I've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
I wish that you guys at home had the opportunity to see after Dan makes a great call on a home run, or maybe it's a diving play somewhere. The way you strut around this booth, I had no idea you had as long of a cord on your headphones as you do. You had a long leash.
Well, it used to be the worm.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Then you had the back problem.
Yeah, I had back issues.
Sciatic.
Yeah, caught up with me.
It happens, man. It's probably from all the strutting.
Had the right shoulder shuffle for a while.
That was a good look.
That was great. New pitcher, Justin Miller. And now Drew Robinson at the plate. We're tied 4-4. 1 ball, 1 strike. Justin Miller, he's been around for a while. Out of Bakersfield, California. He's pitched with Detroit, Colorado, and now with the Nationals. Drew Robinson, we've seen him at short. He made a great play up the middle to start a double play, and he's also been in center field. I'll tell you what, you can play short in center field. Teams will take a long look at you if you can play that in the major leagues.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that there's this game, there's tomorrow, there's the exhibition in Memphis. Regular season starts on Thursday, but while everybody's excited about getting it going, these at-bats and these opportunities for a guy like Drew Robinson, who's fighting tooth and nail to make this club, these are important. These are big for him.
And he strikes out. No argument. Painted the outside corner. And now Dylan Carlson. And a strike. Dylan Carlson, all of 20 years of age.
Split time last year, 2 levels. Was in Peoria and then Palm Beach in High A. Might do some moving this year. You picked him, right, as your guy that makes the most moves, biggest climber.
I guess it hit him. May have hit his foot, and yeah, I think he would be a one to keep an eye on without question. I think Tommy Edman was another one that, you know, you don't say climber because there's not much, you know, where else are you going to go? One more step.
Big jump.
Right. That's the big jump to the big leagues.
But it's one that he'll likely make at some point.
I think Ryan Helsley also caught my eye with the velocity and big league arm is the way it was posed to me this morning, talking to some that'll follow the Cardinals all spring. And I know that there are probably some at home saying, well, where has he been? Well, they put him in the minor leagues after he made a few appearances in big league games to keep him on track. There just weren't enough innings.
Go get your work in.
Right. It wasn't a demotion. It was just to keep him on track. He'll be a starter. And it kind of reminds me of what seeing Trevor Rosenthal in this game appearing as a reliever for the Nationals. Very similar. Rosenthal was a starter in the minor leagues and then came up and relieved in the big leagues. This is Evan Mendoza. Took over for Paul Goldschmidt at first base. And a count of no balls and 1 strike. Carlson will be interesting where they put him, number 1, but what position? Third, or rather left, right, or center field. Can play all 3 spots. And I'm going to keep an eye on what he does from the right side of the plate. I think he's advanced left side of the plate, but there needs to be some strides on the right side of the plate. So we'll see.
And at 20 years old, he's got plenty of time.
Absolutely.
Plenty of time to make those strides. And it's all about opportunity, too. I mean, you can't help who you're facing on a night-in, night-out basis. He's going to get more ABs from that left side just due to the fact that he's going to be facing more right-handers. That's just kind of how it is around baseball. But you're right. It's that maturation process. He looks comfortable on both sides. I mean, it doesn't look unnatural. But there's something to that sweet left-handed swing.
Also being on the backfields and seeing the young third baseman that the Cardinals have. Now, we've seen some of them get called up to have at-bats here.
Saw Nolan Gorman today.
Right. But they like those young kids, and they think they're going to move. We're talking again, Ryan Ludwig last night. He said, guys, they've got some guys that could swing it down there. 2-1 pitch. Carlson leaning just a bit towards second, not running, and fouled back 2-2.
Justin Miller, a tough AB on righties. The way that he sets, he closes off, and he looks like he's stepping right at you. Kind of hard to hang in there as a right-hander. That's good deception.
Two and two the count. The next 2, Mendoza. Fouled away. Now, sometimes the game tomorrow on a getaway day, the final game of spring, could be the fastest game of spring. Sometimes, not always.
Sometimes. On that game, isn't it a rule on that game where you use 1 bat and you just leave it there?
Yeah.
Everybody uses
just
that.
Pick it up and start swinging.
Here we go.
Hack away. We'll see. 2-2 pitch. Taken high. You know, guys are ready. Just let's go. Move on to the next stop. And let's move on.
Yeah. Well, you're feeling it.
you're ready. Kind of sense it. But then you're going to Memphis, and that's a quick stop.
Yeah. But it's different. Like, so
Right.
that makes it's not your same routine.
Right. See if they want to start the runner on 3-2. And for the minor leagues, their season does not coincide with the start of the major leagues. So many of the Springfield guys and Memphis players going as well. And they'll just keep kind of having the inner squad, if you will. 3-2, Carlson running, and Mendoza probably went after ball 4. Seven pitch at bat, Evan Mendoza. Running again, and that is ball 4. So the go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 down here in the top of the 9th, and Tyler O'Neill will be the batter for St. Louis. The announcement yesterday that O'Neill had made the club.
Well, we've seen a couple of fastballs already by Justin Miller that have kind of missed arm side. He leaves one of those things center cut to O'Neill. Got a whole new game.
Ooh. Took a little something off that pitch. Strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. 1-1. This will be spots like these for Tyler O'Neill coming up with late inning situations. The power and a threat off the bench. He and Jose Martinez.
It's going to be a learning curve for him as well of how to prepare for these types of at-bats. And that's where the advanced scouting is going to get into it. Knowing your reports, knowing what you're going to get, knowing that a guy like Justin Miller is going to be throwing you those sliders down and away. How do you stay on him? How do you recognize the pitch? And it's hard when you're in that role to wait around all day. You get to the ballpark early. You go through all your routine. You're prepared like a starter to get that one at-bat late in the game oftentimes. It's a hard thing to do.
2-2. The 2-2 pitch. And now it's up to Francisco Pena. 2 outs, 2 on, and a 4-4 score here in the top of the 9th.
Well, he threw him a couple of sliders away and then went with some good old-fashioned hardball. Fastball in and just got it by Tyler O'Neill.
Mentioned before, Matt Wieters has made this club, and so see what happens in the next maybe 24 hours here with Francisco Pena.
It's a hard time of year also to find another big league gig. Everybody's trying to do the same things that you're doing as an organization. It is whittled down and get to your 25-man roster. Got a lot of teams that have excess players, so it might be difficult to find another big league job. I really like Francisco Pena. I like the way that he goes about his business, the way that he knows his staff so well, works hard. But, you know, in the game, you're always trying to look to see how you can tweak your club and make it better. And they felt, you know, with the signing of Matt Wieters, they did so. And I would like to see him stay in the organization.
Didn't do much to lose the backup job. You know, had a good start to camp. That includes defensively and at the plate, hitting .278. But with Wieters there and his track record and resume, it went to Matt Wieters. So all you can do is keep plugging.
That's it. That's it. That's how he got to this position, right? He got to the big leagues by working. They keep working.
Heading the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. Dylan Carlson, the runner at second base. And the next to Pena. Runners go, and a pitch taken low. So the Cardinals double steal, and a base hit could score 2. Pena. That'll carry to center. Cardinals strand a pair. So we head to the bottom of the 9th. And we're tied up. Cardinals 4. Nationals 4. And the burgers on the grill. Summer right around the corner. And that means baseball. And it's 4-4 here in the bottom of the 9th. The Cardinals and Nationals on Fox Sports Midwest. Dakota Hudson just sensational here today, and now his 6th inning in relief of Miles Michaelis.
You're not going to get hurt down there very often. Throw that sinker at the bottom of the zone.
And a ground ball off the bat of Wilmer Defoe, and there's one away. Brings in Collier with one away. Well, no one throwing in the Nationals bullpen, and you get the feeling that if it's 4-4 after 9, that would be it. Spring training, though, you never know. Sometimes they say, well, hold on. We talked before the game, and if we do have a tie game, we're saving somebody to throw that 10th inning. But we'll wait and see, and we got to get there first.
Yeah, exactly. There are sometimes you bring the extra arms. Cardinals have a bullpen full of guys right now, as do the Nationals.
I've been tricked before.
A lot of
As
times,
have you.
Well, yes, it's happened. A lot of times in this position, too, you see guys get up, they're just getting some work in, getting their bullpens.
I've actually gotten up and put the headset down and left the booth. And told to come on back. Wait a minute.
It happens.
It happens. Get on back here. All right. No problem. 1-2 the count on Zach Collier. Ground ball. Backhanded. Hudson to the bag. How many times do you think Dakota Hudson has done the old PFP with those ground balls?
I got a feeling he's done a couple of them so far this spring, but the thing is, you hit on it so much in the spring, so you don't get a chance to practice a ton during the year. And he does a great job just getting over, getting up the line so you don't cross the path of the runner. But it is the little details, and it kind of gets monotonous during spring training, all the PFPs, going over all of the bunt plays. It's every day, going over them, knowing the signs, knowing your assignments, where to go. But you might not use that again until September. Maybe you get around All-Star break, a little crash course on it. But you might not use it again, so you better know it, because by the time you utilize one of these things, it's going to be very important.
Adrian Sanchez at the plate with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Matter of fact, you'll see that, and I thought Mike Schilt did that a bunch, actually, when he took over, in which you get to the ballpark early, let's say 2:30, and you'll see the guys.
Some early work.
Yeah, they'll be out there doing some of those things, just refreshers. Taking a bit high, and it's 2-1. Willie McGee did that with the outfielders immediately when Mike Schilt took over. Got the outfielders out there to do different things in terms of throwing and just lengthening.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to. It's not like this. It's not like spring training.
Fly ball into right center. That'll stay in the ballpark. And the catch made by Drew Robinson. And we'll take a brief timeout. It'll be a mystery when you come back. Will we have extra innings? Or is it just a tie? Currently, it's 4-4. 4-4 tie. How about Dakota Hudson? Sensational.
He was great. He was efficient, pounding the strike zone. He earned that 5th starter job and put a nice finishing touch on his spring training. Nice game by the Cardinals, and one more down in Jupiter tomorrow.
Love a 3-man booth tomorrow. Todd Hollinsworth will join us. For Brad Thompson, I'm Dan McLaughlin, our entire crew. 4-4 the final. We'll see you tomorrow at noon.